What would you say worries you most about the national economy at this time? Well, that's exactly the question we asked the American public. Let me give you the top 9 answers we got back from Americans. Number 1, maybe not surprisingly, jobs and unemployment. Number 2, the national debt. Number 3, continuing economic decline, economic instability. Number 4, outsourcing of jobs overseas. Number 5, Obama not doing a good job of the economy. Number 6, Congress not doing a good job with the economy and the political bickering in Washington. Number 7, health care, including Medicaid. Number 8, corporate corruption, corporations running the government. And number 9, housing crisis. When we put them all together, I would say the top concern of the American public, jobs and unemployment. This is not a surprise. We find this in our most important problem question. And again, what worries Americans more than anything else are things relating to jobs, jobs going overseas, and so forth. Number 2, in a broad sense, I would say it's the deficit. And number 3, it is things having to do with how elected representatives are handling the economy, and that would include Obama and Congress here in Washington, D.C. So I would say those are the big 3 concerns. What's notable for its omission is there's very little discussion of the gap between the rich and the poor. So that whole idea that economic inequality is the big problem doesn't come through very much in our data. Second, there's very little mention of overseas economic issues relating to the national economy here. That would be Europe. Very few Americans say what worries them most is what's going on in Europe, and also very few Americans say what's going on in China worries them the most. There are differences by political party here. Republicans are more likely to mention the debt, in fact, quite a bit more likely to mention the debt and the deficit than are Democrats. Republicans also more likely to say that the problem with the economy, what worries them is Obama's handling of it. Democrats are more likely to say that what worries them is the bickering that goes on with Congress about the economy. That would probably be the Republican-controlled House, and Democrats are a little more likely to say that what worries them are low wages for jobs. Bottom line out of all of this is I think that any kind of thrust on the economy politically this year that talks about economic inequality and the gap between the rich and the poor would be missing the boat. What Americans apparently want politicians to address are jobs, jobs, and jobs. That's clearly the big issue, the deficit, and then the inability, seemingly, of representatives here in Washington to do something about the economy. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Gallup Editor-in-Chief.